address their mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really kind of addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess, something I'm really passionate about, and I really believe that it needs to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I doggone love it. Like y'all are y'all are saying some amazing stuff, man. Um, and I think going back to what all of you said, it's something that is a priority. It's something to have that needs to be worked on. You can't just you can't just wish mental health into existence. You can't just wish and hope everything will get better. Going back to what I heard you, Giselle, say that made me think of a question. You actually have to like sit down. You actually have to sit down and actually deal with it. And I even think in a lot of instances, it's important to be alone when you're doing that. It's important to be alone and spend that time with yourself, or, if you believe in God, but spend that time with God, or, things of that nature, like actually deal with it by isolating yourself, but not isolating yourself. Like having that support group, but then also being able to step away and get that time alone to reflect on your own self, to make sure that you're good. There's a quote by a poet. Look, Elena's like it's poetry coming out of there. It is. It can't leave. I can't leave it alone. But there's a quote by a poet, Charles Bukowski, and he says, "True loneliness is not always when you are alone." And it's stuff like that. Like you can literally be in a midst of people and still feel alone, still feel horrible, still. And I'm talking about myself. Like I've had those moments where I've been smiling or laughing or trying to run away from my mental health. Like even if we want to put it that way, I wanted to run away from my problems instead of deal with it, because dealing with it is a lot harder. You got to actually be honest with yourself. It's like, yeah, this actually bothered me, or yeah, this actually, like, there's some things I still run from, and I'm like, you know, but I'll see a movie, or I hear it in the song, or I hear it, in some lyrics, and I'm like, like Elena, it was your poetry. You hit me with something, that poem I took. I was like, I was like, dang, why she had to? I was like, does she know about my past? Like, just stuff. Like there will be things I hear, and I'm just like, dang, it's triggering something that I've done, or something that I need to get right, or something so it goes back to that topic of sitting down and actually dealing with it, taking time out and actually reflecting on it, putting in the work. So I love what y'all have said in regards to this. If anybody else has any responses before I move on. All right. Um, the question I did think of, Giselle, when you were talking, and actually I know I just kind of touched on it just now, but should you sit down and deal with it, or should you keep moving? Is there a benefit, do you think, in like moving, like, hey, you know, I'm dealing with this, or there's this issue I'm having mentally, but is there any benefit in moving when you're trying to improve your mental health? Because I know, Elena, you spoke on not allowing it to hold you or keep you from your goals. So I guess maybe that in a sense is a form of moving by which it could help benefit you. But also we just said too that you should sit down and deal with it. Is there a balance that needs to be, that you need to have there, or is one better than the other, or should you do both at the same time? What do you think about that?
What do
Okay.
you mean moving?
Giselle, you about to say something?
Oh, I was, but then she said something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh. No, I was just wanting you to clarify. What do you mean by moving?
So I guess when I say moving, I'm more so thinking about, how
Not
you can, I'm sorry.
like not dealing with it. Like kind of like just like it
Oh,
happened. I got other stuff to worry about.
Exactly. Exactly. That perspective too. But then I would also say the perspective where maybe sitting down can make you fall deeper into depression, and getting out of the house, or move, or going to the gym like you did today. Like when you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like both. is there a fine line? Is there a certain time limit you should give yourself? Or should you do both immediately? Or should you sit down first, deal with it, and then move? I guess like where are y'all in regards to that?
I feel like it might be different for everyone. Like it just depends on the person.
Mm,
But I feel like ultimately my answer is there's like balance because I think I've seen it, well, not only with myself, but I've seen it with plenty of people where they try to like ignore it. And there's going to be a point where you just can't anymore.
yeah, yeah.
And then usually it's like way worse because they like exploded
Mm,
when like that probably could have been prevented if they would have like dealt with it, even not completely in one day or in a week, but like little by little, like
mm,
gradually
mm-hmm, yeah.
to prevent that explosion and that breakdown. And like,
Mm,
because like even when people have breakdown, like that sucks. Like that's a lot,
yeah,
to
yeah.
deal with. Um, but I also get what you're saying too. Like I think sometimes some people may find like themselves if they sit down and ponder on it, I guess too much, it discourages them. Like it has like an opposite effect. I think
Mm-hmm,
there's this guy that I follow. His name is Bedros. How do you say his last name? It's kind of hard. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I love him. He's like an entrepreneur. Like I love him. I love his mindset. But he said something that I think is so true. Well, I personally agree with, but he said a lot of people use their story to prevent themselves from moving forward. So
ooh.
he was saying like let's say if someone, has like had a rough childhood or like they just
Mm,
gone through a lot of stuff, sometimes people will use that and keep like using that story over and over, like, oh yeah, like, I've gone through this, like I've gone through that as a way to like, just stay there
yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't
Like
realize it.
self-sabotage.
Yeah, it's like self-sabotage basically. Like you're making yourself stay there, you don't even realize it. You can't dwell in that. It's okay to, of course, like what we're saying right now, like manage it, heal from that,
Mm,
process it. But there's a balance. You can't
mm,
dwell in it
mm,
too much because that's where it gets dangerous. So to me, it's just like balance. It's balance. And I guess balance could be a little different for everyone.
mm,
But
mm,
yeah, I would say balance.
I feel like it depends because like
mm,
sometimes people process trauma especially
mm,
differently, right? And sometimes we're not willing to accept what had happened and we're kind of still in the angry phase. Um, and also like some people don't know how to process it.
mm,
Especially if you've grown up in a kind of like a situation where it's kind of been traumatic, hasn't been like the healthiest,
yeah.
and if especially if like everything has been like swept under the rug, like
Mm,
then how is I guess someone that hasn't been exposed to a healthy like relationship or a healthy like how to process your emotions healthily
mm,
or how to
mm,
deal with like trauma healthily, how does someone kind of manage it or be able to like reflect and process things when they
mm,
don't know where to start from. So then that's what causes like I guess unhealthy outlets where you just build everything up and then it kind of just like backfires in a negative way. So it's I feel like it's like a multiple factors. Like it's not like some people can like process it, like sit down and reflect on everything. Sometimes it
mm,
takes people like time, like they need to do, go to the gym, think
mm,
why this happened, why that happened, how can I kind of like move past it? And then sometimes it takes, but then it's like up to the person, like, do you want to process it? Do you want to grow from this experience? Do you want to get to a
mm.
place where you're okay and you
Wow,
don't no longer feel, that
wow.
pain depending on what you went through? I think it's just different for everyone.
Mm. I love it. I love it. I love what you both said. Yeah. Alina?
Um, I think a lot of what you guys are describing as balance, um, or like what Larissa was saying, some people process it differently or don't want to accept it. I think it comes with discipline. If
Mm,
you want to build like a good mental health, you have to have discipline because, yes, you have to know when or how you process your emotions. You have to understand yourself in that way. You have to understand what you need for certain triggers or, um, situations that you go through. Do I need to sit down right now, or should I go to the gym, work out all these feelings, and then come home and sit down and try to figure it out, or give it a couple of days and see if I need just time to accept what just happened, or such and such. To me, I feel like it's discipline because I'm one of those people that if I do let myself sit and think about something too long, I trap myself. I trap myself in this very dark place. And that stems from I have a really traumatic childhood where I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety at a very young age. So I've had to learn to cope with and understand my emotions more than any other child had to at that age. And I've come to understand myself, and just recently, actually, had come to understand myself that I process things differently than other people. And the way I process it is first, I need to acknowledge what's happening. Then I need to understand, am I too wrapped up in the emotions right now that if I sit down and think about it or try to process it in this moment, am I going to set myself up for failure? Or should I go move around, go for a walk, go on a hike, get out of the town for a little while, and then come home. And once I've, kind of relaxed and gotten to a better place for processing, then let me process my emotions and move forward. So, but I feel like, to build good mental health, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of understanding yourself and your emotions and how you deal with everything.
Man, we, like I said, we can end the call right here. Like this. This is some good stuff. Like, seriously. I mean, wow. I love, since you were the last, Elena, I'll reference what you said first, and that was the getting to know yourself first. I think that's one of the hardest things you could ever do is know yourself. Like, I truly do, because I feel like the world is so busy pointing you at everything you should be. It's like, nah, I don't care about. I was just talking to my mom about this. I was like, at a very young age, we're like told, nah, that's not gonna make money. When you're drawing or when you want to do something, nah, that's not gonna. You're gonna be a doctor. Yeah, you're gonna be a lawyer. Yeah, you're gonna be a computer scientist, or you're gonna be. No, you're not gonna be this. It's like, well, I want to draw. I like music. I want to play basketball, or I want to like just anything. And it's like, nah, that's not gonna. You need a plan B. You need a plan B. That could be your plan B, but your plan A will be to go to school, go to college, and blah blah, this and that. And you're just told to be this thing with this person that just operates like everybody else, like a robot, and you never get to know yourself, like until like something catastrophic happens, and you have cancer or something, or you have a health scare, and it's like, okay, actually, life is real. I'm actually going to die at some point. So I need to at least get to know myself, know what I enjoy so that I can at least be happy. At least, maybe I can at least find enjoyment out of that. And I feel like, again, even with me, I'm still getting to know myself, but getting to know yourself, I think, is one of the hardest things you can do. But I think it ties very closely to mental health, having really good mental health. And all of y'all said that to an extent. I love too going to Larissa and Giselle, what you both said in regards to the aspect of how it could differ, and Elena, you touched on this too, and that aspect of, yeah, everyone's different. Some people may process it differently. Some people may need to go to the gym, like you said, Larissa, instead of sitting down. I didn't think of that. I thought it was more so like everyone should sit down. Everyone should have a timeout. Everyone should do, but not everyone processes things that way because of catastrophic things that happened in their past, in their childhood. Like you said, Larissa, going back to that, certain people, Elena, like you said, knowing yourself, you have to sit and process it, or otherwise, at the same time, you also have to look at yourself and say, okay, if I sit, will this trap me? I think that's what you use. Will this become a trap for me? So looking and knowing yourself, knowing how you maneuver, and knowing that there's differences for everyone, but also, Elena, Giselle, what you stressed, that there needs to be balance. I think that too plays a huge part. Um, I think everything you all said was well said in the response, and I think that it holds really good significance towards good mental health. I love it. Anybody else want to respond before we move on? All right. Okay. In terms of the importance of mental health, how important is it to you? I guess we can put it up against physical health, mental, physical health. How important is, money? We can put it up against everything. How important is it to you? Like, is it something that you will drop everything for? And it's like, you would rather this even over your physical health. How important is mental health to you? One at a time. One at a time.
To me, I think mental health, to me, because of my life experiences,
yeah,
I've learned that my mental health is my priority. If I'm not good, I can't be good or there for myself 100%. If I'm not good mentally, I can't be the best mother I can be to my kids. If I'm not good mentally, I can't be the best wife to my husband as I want to be. I can't even be as good as I want to be in the gym if I'm not good mentally. A lot of people post on social media like, oh, when I'm struggling with my mental health, I go to the gym. But to me, I go to the gym either because I need help coping with my mental health instead of ignoring it, or I can't go to the gym if I'm not feeling good. I physically can't, because everything will just feel heavier. Everything will feel too hard. I won't be in a good mindset. I won't believe in myself the way I should be believing in myself. So to me, my mental health is like, it's more important than anything else in my life, because I need to be good mentally in order to even receive anything else.
Elena, that you just brought up a really good thing. Like, I may post this tonight, but what you just said, and I want everyone's perspective on this. You said that going to the gym when you're dealing with your mental health. Now, I get it. I get it. There's like physical, scientific elements that the gym helps in terms of endorphins and stuff that could be released when going to the gym to make you happy and stuff like that. But you mentioned something, and that was you use the gym to cope with your mental health. But are you saying that people can use the gym to run away from their mental health, to run away from dealing with it? Because like you said, you can't feel good. Sometimes you won't even feel good in the gym because you're still dealing with it. But am I getting you? Am I making sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah. Social media loves to portray the gym as a all healing arena. A lot of people will, post, oh, so-and-so broke up with me, so I'm going to the gym. But are you going to the gym to cope with it? Or are you going to run away from your feelings and not feel anything and just numb yourself out? Because you can either, go to the gym to feel numb, or you can go to the gym to feel good. If there's two different ways you can go.
Dang. Like that's real, man. Like
I agree though. I agree with what she's saying. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, I agree. Like, I think sometimes like it is portrayed as like you know, like what she said, like the all healer, you know. And don't get me wrong, like I'm a personal trainer, so I'm all like for the gym, like, but of course there are limits. Like I think sometimes people, and I've seen it with my clients personally, where they tell me like stuff that they're going through, but like they're kind of like I can tell when they're kind of using the gym as like a way to, like what she said, basically just kind of like not think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it where at some point they explode. I have.
Wow.
So yeah, it really, it can go that route. I think no matter what, like you can use anything to numb yourself, whether it's the gym, whether it's drugs, alcohol, like it could be anything. Like you have to be really careful with what you use to numb yourself, basically.
Yeah, that's so true.
Wow.
'Cause I'm like that. Like, if I'm mad, like I'm angry, I have to go run or I have to lift. It's one or the other. Because I be blunt sometimes,
Yeah.
and you can't take back your words
Yeah.
when you say it.
Yeah.
So I either have to go for a run or I have to lift heavy.
Mm.
It's one or the other. And then
Mm.
after that, it kind of clears my head. So like in a way, it numbs me from
Mm.
thinking about it at that moment.
Mm.
But I'm not Harry's, and that's a, I don't know if you get that termination, but
No, you
I'm
gotta explain that. You can't just drop that word. Nah, you gotta explain that.
so in Australia, like when people are like, oh, don't go Harry's, it's like, don't go hard out. So I don't go hard out
Oh.
to the gym where like it's extreme cases kind of thing. It's just at that moment. And I'm the type of person where like if someone says something back to me, like I'll tell them how it is straight and then I'll like it's done, like whatever. I don't hold grudges. So because I'm that type of person in that moment when I'm feeling like some type of way, that's why I have to either run or I have to lift heavy. But yeah, I know some people who do use it and take it to the extreme, which isn't healthy. It definitely
Mm.
isn't.
Mm. Mm. Oh my goodness, man. I'm posting this tonight. Using the gym to hide from or run from your mental health. I didn't even think of that. Like, because like y'all said, it's always, you see it every day. It's the posting of I'm going to the gym, you know, or like I'm like, you know, the gym sometimes it be more effective, it seems like, than God. I'm like, there's the gym, you know, like you'll start to think, you know, the gym is healing everybody. Like, you know, it's truly pictured or portrayed that way. It's like, man, the gym is like everything, you know. You broke your leg, go to the gym. You know, you need a heart transplant, go to the gym. It's like, well, hold on, you know, like do you need to go to the hospital? It's like and going back to what y'all are saying, it's so true. It's like, yeah, you can run from something or you can use something to mask what's really going on. And I know a lot of people. I'm thinking of one person in particular. And I've told her, she's someone I've known for a while, and I've told her to go see a therapist, or I've told her to do these type of things. Like, she's never had therapy, and that's actually what I was going to ask too. The next question was like, you know, how important do you think therapy is? But I've told her to go to therapy, and she's never done it. And but she's always posting, like, she, I kid y'all not, she's always posting content that looks like she's about to commit suicide. Like, it's very dark content. It's very like, oh, I'm going to get this, or I'm going to do this. But then she'll put like these emojis that just look stressed, or it's like, oh, I almost can't take it, or I'm almost done, or I swear I'm almost, like, you just hear these things in the content that she posts, and I'll hit her. I'm like, you know, have you done it? Yeah, have you went to go? Have you seen? And it's like, yeah, I know I need to, but mm-mm. You know, like, or no, I don't ever want to be alone. She'll say things like that, and I'm like, you gotta go to there. You gotta go. You know, and I wish she was on this call too, but yeah, like, she's always in the gym. She's always lifting hard. She's always doing PRs. It's a PR every week. Like, it's that bad. And it's just like, I'm like, man, at some point your legs are gonna snap with all these PRs. Like, I'm like, you're gonna need more than therapy. You're gonna need, the hospital, because it seems like you're abusing. Sooner or later, a PR seems to be abuse. It's like, man, like, I don't know if this is healthy. Do you really need to reach 400 deadlift or 400 squat? Like, do you really need to do all that? But then it goes back to what, Elena, you sparked. She is hiding. She is literally running from her mental health to the point to where she's abusing her physical, when in fact she's painting it like she's killing it. And it's like, oh man, and I'll catch myself commenting underneath her post like, you're killing it, keep going. But then I'll like, what you just said now is gonna make me stop. It's like, nah, I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna press the backspace. Nah, I ain't gonna promote this. Like, for real, I'm not, because I'm like I'm like, no, you're actually like, now I'm gonna like take a different approach. I'm gonna be like, hey, how are you mentally? I'm gonna check in on her more like that. Instead of going, keep going. Go for 500. It's like it's like I'm making it work. So I appreciate this spark of concept, Elena. This, man, you may get a lot of hate. I'm just saying, you may get a lot of people that come for you because you may be calling a lot of people out. Seriously. Like,
I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't do it at one point, but I realized I don't want to hurt myself. I just want to not hurt no more. And, and that's when I stopped. I couldn't, it like flicked a switch. And even like the next day, if I didn't feel good, I was like, I can't even go to the gym today. Like, yep. I don't even want to go. Like, I'll go for a walk. Let me go for a walk instead. Because if I go to the gym, I'm just going to make myself feel worse because I'm not going to be hitting anything I want to hit. Wow. And if I do, I'm not going to even be pumped enough to, celebrate it. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing that up. I think that is just a huge, huge thing that a lot of people needed to hear. And I think I'm going to be posting this tonight. Therapy. How important do you think therapy is? And have y'all ever had therapy? Have you ever tried therapy? I haven't. In the Black community as a whole thing, like, we really don't even want to, like, I'm saying, we like run from, like, everybody in the Black community is okay mentally. Like, we're just like, oh yeah, we're good, man. We don't need that stuff. Have y'all ever had therapy? Or yeah, your perspectives on it.
No, I've never had therapy. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. No, I was just saying no, I've never had therapy. But I think it's important. I think it's definitely helpful. Well, I guess it depends. You got to be careful. I've heard like you have to be careful. Like some therapists are like not as helpful as they may seem. Just like personal trainer. Not every personal trainer is a good personal trainer.
Yep.
So I mean, it might take trial and error. I've heard like sometimes people have like gone through different therapists because they didn't have that rapport, or like they kind of felt like, there were like some weird stuff like that they felt. But ultimately, I feel like once you do find that good therapist that truly helps you and has you with at their best interest, then it's beneficial.
Are you planning to have therapy in the future? Maybe.
I'm not opposed to it, so yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely, cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I've kind of thought about like, I think it would be important to get like couples therapy and stuff before, like, I'm single right now, but like I've always thought about that, and I think that's super important, like as a couple, to like do that before like serious things like marriage and stuff like that.
Like, I say, get it now while you sing. Like, get it now. Like, there's a lot of problems, a lot of issues. Like, get it now, get it before you even get it. It's like, get it before, get it during. Like, get it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and during marriage, of course, too. I think that's always good to like just maintain. But you get what I mean? Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had it. It helped. I think there was one point in my life where something happened in my family and I felt like I couldn't disclose it to anyone. Like outside of my immediate family. And it was like really heavy on my heart, and it was affecting my day-to-day life. So I had to have some way, apart from training. You can't train 24 hours a day.
Mm,
Um, I had to have like another outlet, so I saw a counselor
mm,
through work, um, and it really helped. I guess
mm,
it, especially if like you don't have like a support network where you're able to, I guess, offload um, on the days where things are really heavy on your mind and things like that. It's really
mm-hmm.
helpful.